Hey, it is an unstoppable day. Hey, if it's Tuesday, then it must be another episode of the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrence Lethbridge. And that would be me. I'm your host, Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Lethbridge with Unstoppable Coaching Services. And it is time for Thankful Tuesday, y'all. All during the month of November, we are going to be giving thanks for many reasons. Did I say many reasons? Yes, I did, because I'm thankful, and I'm thankful for you guys for taking out time out of your Tuesday. You could be anywhere in the world today, especially on a day like today, but you decided to come and hang out with the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming in. I know it's Election Tuesday, but hopefully by now, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 7 o'clock Central Time, you have made it out to the polls and you have done your civic duty. You have taken the opportunity to cast your vote. Whether you did it early voting or whether you stood in line today, I want to thank you in advance for making your vote. Because, you know, the one thing about voting, voting gives you the opportunity to give a voice. It gives you the opportunity to show people that your voice matters. It teaches people all around you and people that are coming after you about the importance of casting a vote. And it lets you know that every voice matters. So hopefully you took that opportunity. Hopefully you took an opportunity to take advantage of what this country was built on. You took an opportunity to take advantage of what many of us fought for, what many of our predecessors died for, so that you could have the right to show your independence, to make your voice be heard, so that this country can be better for it. Now, it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter what party you are aligned with, whether you are Democratic, whether you are Republican, or whether you are a GDI, a goddamn independent. It don't matter. What does matter is that you took the opportunity to share your voice. And now that you've done that, well, I want you to come back, sit back, relax, and stay tuned for another exciting episode of the Unstoppable Story Show. Thank you. Let's get some shout outs real quick. Hey, we got Yolanda Carter, who's in the house. She's saying, hello, Yolanda. Thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and swipe and share. Let us know where you are watching us from. It is the beginning of a wonderful, exciting month here on the Unstoppable Story Show. I love this month because I love the opportunity, the ideal of being able to say thank you, to be able to give kudos, to be able to just express what you guys mean to me, everybody who watches each and every Tuesday and who's been following me way back when the show wasn't the Unstoppable Story Show, when the show was Next Level Living. You guys have been ride or die. You have followed me throughout, and I thank you so much for being a part of what I call the Unstoppables. Yeah, y'all more than just colleagues, y'all more than just social media friends. You guys are the part of the Unstoppable family, and I appreciate you for being there. So go ahead, swipe and share, and we are going to have a great time tonight. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I can tell you that it is going to be a trip. So as always, I want you to go ahead and get your writing utensil, get your pen, your pad, and get your favorite libation because, honey, I don't know what might be happening on this show tonight, but we are so thankful to have these phenomenal guests on the show tonight. And we're going to see some alumni of the show too as well. Shout out to my man, Chris Gloss, the possibilitarian. Hey, I'm excited about tonight too. So let's just go on and let me just give you a nice little, let's just give a flashback to 8 years ago. I believe it was June 9th, 2010. And it was around this time, and there's something came on, a little something like this. Yeah, and that's how it all began. 8 years ago, this phenomenal show called Mindshift Talk Radio came on the air. And this young, vivacious woman and this highly spiritual young man and this other highly intelligent female, they just decided to join forces, and they wanted to shift the course of internet radio at that time. They wanted to change some minds with some great conversation and have them think outside of the box, to actually shift the way they thought. And it came to be known as this phenomenal show called Mindshift Talk Radio. And as you can see on the flyer right on the screen now, they added a fourth member throughout the course of their 3-year run on Blog Talk Radio. So I want to be thankful with these people. Stacey Emery, she was Stacey Emery then, she's Stacey Emery Watson now. The motivational minister himself, who is no stranger to the Unstoppable Story Show. His name is Billy Miller. Then we've got Juanita Big Bones Warren, who is now Dr. Big Bones Warren. And then, of course, we had Dr. Ayo Kadar. They made up the group, the Mindshift Talk Radio. And they were really the you see this show today. Because back in about 2011, they gave your boy, who wasn't unstoppable then, but it wasn't Mr. Unstoppable then, but he had the Unstoppable coaching business, gave them their first opportunity to be a guest, just to call into the show. I called in and I gave a comment. And then I started listening to the show week in and week out, and I was making comments in the chat room, and I was getting shout outs from the Mindshift Talk Radio's crew. And I was like, oh, they shout me out, I'm somebody. And then they gave me the opportunity to be a guest on their show. And from that point, it was a wrap. And what you see now, the Unstoppable Story Show, all began from that seed that was planted with the Mindshift Talk Radio crew. So I thank them so much for allowing me that opportunity. And now I get to flip the script, turn back the page, rewind the clock, and bring them back on the air in a different platform, a different format. When they were on Blog Talk Radio, you didn't see them. But on Facebook Live on the Unstoppable Story Show, you are going to see these beautiful women and men live and in person. So without further ado, let's start introducing the crew of the phenomenal Mindshift Talk Radio Show. Coming to the screen first and foremost, we've got two dynamic sisters. One is the founder of the Mindshift Talk Radio Show, Stacey Emery Watson, and then we've got Dr. Juanito Big Bones Warren. Hey, are you guys on the broadcast?
Yes, we are here.
Hey, it is an unstoppable day, you guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
So let's jump right in. Let's introduce yourselves and let the Unstoppable Story Show audience know who you are and what you did when you first started Mindshift Talk Radio. So why don't we start with you?
Song again. Like, we still get really pumped up when we hear the song. So can we hear the song again?
Yeah, I saw you doing the Cabbage Patch. I'm like, okay. Let's see. Here you go.
That's it, right? Yeah. Look at Terrence. Get it, Terrence. Get it.
Yeah.
How about that?
Come on.
I didn't know.
All right, that's enough of that.
That's funny.
So, Stacey, tell our audience a little bit about you.
So, I am Stacey Emery Watson, as you said, the host and creator of Mindshift Talk Radio, and I'm like super excited. I posted on Facebook earlier today, Terrence. I said, I don't know what we're going to say. I don't know exactly how this is going to go down tonight, but when we get together, it is going to be real. We are super excited. As you can see, I'm sitting here with my partner in success and crime. And as it's just, it's surreal to me, honestly, to be doing this again after all these years. As you said just now to the listeners, before people would see our Facebook pictures and they would hear our voices, but they never saw us live in action. And so technology is amazing that we're able to do this right now. So thank you so much for allowing us to be here. But I don't want to take too much time talking about myself. So if you have anything in particular that you want to know about me, I can answer that. But yeah, I'm here.
No. Don't take over the show completely. Let Dr. Warren get some time in. Right. Hey, Big Bones, how are you?
Hi. Oh, I am Sister Big Bones. Yep. And you could find me like that on Facebook till they went to making people use some version of their government name. But AKO Juanita Warren, Dr. Juju, Chaplain Juju, all that. Most importantly, my mama's daughter at this point. Yeah. And
absolutely.
I was the last person to join to co-host. Started in February of, what was it, 2000, maybe, when did we stop, 14?
So you probably came on board, I think, 2012 or 13.
Okay, might have been 2012-ish. Mm-hmm. I know it was in February. I forgot the year and all this excitement. And I started out as a listener and would just chime in and post pictures of food while listening. And just loved it and appreciate the opportunity. I think that's how I won her over, was a meal.
She really did. So she kept posting pictures of chicken wings that she would fry. And me and Billy me and Billy would comment on it. And one day I was like, look, I'm gonna need you to make me some of those chicken wings. And so she was like, whenever, just come over. And I took her up on the offer. And it's so funny to say that now, because nowadays people are crazy. Like, you don't just show up at somebody's house, especially if you don't know them, and eat their fried chicken. And I didn't even know her. She could have been like some crazy stalker. Crazy is still there, but at least she's not a stalker. But she could have been a stalker. And that chicken was good. It was real good. So that's how she earned her.
You know, whatever it took. I mean, Dr. Warren, I'm gonna say Dr. Warren because you earn it, so I'm gonna give it to you. Your path and my path were kind of similar. I wasn't showing them food, but I was always showing up in the comments. I was always either, you know, reposting their points or giving comments, and I was doing it because, well, let me be transparent. I was doing it, number one, because I liked the show, but I was doing it, number two, so I could get that shout out. So that, you know, definitely, because back then, Mindshift Talk Radio was must listen to radio. I didn't miss a Monday night, and that's just how much of an impact your show made on me. And I'm sure when you look at the over 800 likes that you have on your Facebook page and the numerous followers that you still have on Blog Talk Radio, that feeling is the same. Yeah. But I don't let y'all talk enough. So let's bring her beautiful of the radio show. I see let's see if we can get her up to the stage. Another doctor, all these doctors. I feel like I got a headache or something.
I know, right?
It's Dr. Ayo Kedar. Doctor, are you in the house?
Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
We can see you. We can hear you. Look at here. Look at here.
Wow.
What's happening, Ayo?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I had to create a Facebook profile to do this. I just want you guys to know.
Welcome back.
No.
Okay.
But it's so awesome.
Deleted after the show.
It's so awesome to see you guys. Like,
ditto.
Right.
Well, welcome back. So for our audience, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself so that they know who you are.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm Dr. Ayo. I'm a doctor of pharmacy. So when I was at the show, I brought the health portion to it. Because that was really, I'm a health advocate, and that's what my number one thing is trying to take care of patients, take care of people. And that's kind of the voice that I brought. Sometimes I was the devil's advocate kind of piece on the show.
Yes, she was.
Wait. She said sometimes, y'all? She said sometimes.
I mean, I just like to bring a different opinion, which is what we're here to do, right? We all have a voice, and you never know which person's voice and what they say will speak to somebody at that time. Because when I met Stacy, that was how she was blessing me, was through something where I was getting to hear her voice, and the message that she was giving was just always like just pouring into me. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, is she talking to me? Like, how does she know what's going on? And so that type of thing is how we connected. And now I know in turn that that's really what it is, that you never know what impression you can make on someone's life with your words, and how powerful your words are, and how you can influence and uplift or bring people down sometimes as well. So Mindshift was really about uplifting, and the health and wellness portion was what I brought to the map.
That's right.
Well, we definitely thank you for making it on the reunion show. It would not have been the same without you. And, I tell people each and every week that this show comes on, there's always something that the universe tries to test the show to make the show live up to its name. And trying to get you in tonight was another one of those tests. But as usual, each and every week we go through that test, we are able to have the testimony live on the show that we are in fact unstoppable. So thank you, Dr. Ayo, for coming through and making the show live up to its name again.
That's
I
right.
appreciate you.
Cheers to that, guys.
Oh, she has
now again,
okay,
if you
cheers.
Wait. Hey.
Oh, one more time. Oh, okay. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you. Mine has a little color in it, so I don't know. But if you're watching the Unstoppable Story Show, it is the Mind Shift Talk Radio reunion. Come on in, swipe and share. Let some people know that I know there's some followers out there of the Mind Shift Talk Radio Show that are happy to see this reunion just like I am. So come on in, give them some hearts, give them some likes. Tell us where you are watching us from. And if you got any comments throughout the show, I'm gonna be looking down in the screen just to make sure. So we want to bring in the motivation to the show, the man in the middle, literally the man who got to spend each week with all this beauty, and he found a way to come up with some ministerial messages at the same time. He is no stranger to the Unstoppable Story Show. He's my friend. He's my buddy. He is the motivational minister himself. Whatever, devil, Billy Miller.
Hey!
I missed that.
What's going on?
How you doing, Billy?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Hey, well, welcome. Now the set is complete. We have the complete Mind Shift Talk Radio crew on the air. Billy, we ain't got to have you introduce you because you was just on the show last month. So, Billy is a multifaceted author. He is a motivational minister. His videos are blowing up on his Facebook page. So you definitely got to go over to his Facebook page. You got to go to his website, whateverdevil.com. Get a copy of his latest book, Whatever Devil, and then also get the t-shirt that he's sporting right there live in HD color. Whatever Devil makes a great Christmas gift. Hint. So, again, I just want to say all of you guys that you just don't know what type of impact you guys had on my journey, my trajectory to where we are today with the Unstoppable Story Show. I remember it like it was yesterday. Just being able to hear the show and be able to, that was the early days of the internet, and, being able to put comments in the chat room, but while still listening on the phone and trying to type on the computer at the same time. But I looked forward to your shows because they always had a message, and you always had some powerful people on the show, and you always were top notch. And to give a little a young man like myself from Chicago the opportunity to not only comment on your show, but then to be a guest on your show, and at one point be a co-host on the show for a show, that meant a lot to me, and that planted the seed that is now the full bloom rose called the Unstoppable Story Show. So I want to thank you all for seeing something in me to allow me to bring value to your show. And I'm humbled and honored that you have all agreed to come and be on my little show.
Oh, awesome. It is such a blessing to hear that. And definitely want to say kudos and congratulations to you, Coach Terrence, Mr. Unstoppable. I mean, what you're doing is absolutely amazing. And you're right. It feels like it was just yesterday. I was talking to Doc, and when you said Dr. Big Bones, that was hilarious. We were cracking up. But we were just talking about some of the early shows, and I was talking to Io about it, and, just kind of commenting and sharing this in text with them. And I first had to say that I totally appreciate them. If I didn't say it clear enough, guys, like truly, I am so very thankful. It made me emotional this weekend to listen to our first episode. And I turned it on. I was getting dressed to go out. And I said, I'm going to listen to this for some laughs because I expected it to just be a mess. I just thought it was going to be crazy. I thought we were going to probably have a whole bunch of errors with the system and everything. And I turn on this show and I'm listening to it while I'm getting dressed. And I'm like, yes, that's right. Yes. And I'm like, hallelujah. Like, thank you, Jesus. Because on that show, we really talked about our vision for Mindshift Talk Radio. Initially, I'll backtrack a little bit. I was hosting Heart to Heart, which was an inspirational call weekly. It was a motivational call. And so that came from our days in multi-level marketing. I say, if you've never done multi-level marketing, shame on you, because at some point you should have done something. That's how a lot of us were connected. And so I was able to do this motivational call with Angela Mitchell at the time. And she's now Angela Brown. So shout out, Angela, if you're watching.
Yes.
So we would do the calls, and from the calls, Mindshift was born because, well, while we did the calls, we had some phenomenal guests on there, and I was able to meet Billy, and Chris Gloss was one of our guests. And I can say Chris was instrumental in getting Mindshift started, because he understood the vision, he understood where I wanted to go, and he supported that vision and introduced us to some phenomenal people. And so with that, Mindshift was born. Billy and I had already connected from the call. Iowa and I had connected from the call. And I was like, guys, this is it. This is what I want to do. And they were like, yes, we want to do the same thing. And when I listened to that call about what we wanted to accomplish, and I look at it 8 years later, we actually accomplished that. And when we were doing it at first, it was just fun. Like, it was literally like talking to your brother and your sister every Monday night. It wasn't really, there was no script. We knew who the guest was going to be. We knew what the topic was going to be, but we just went off from there. You know, I was more the personal development, the safe person on the show. Billy was, of course, that motivational minister, giving us that Christian perspective. And so he kept us, you know, right. And then Io, off the chain. Natural Zen diva, like she said, devil's advocate. She was just bringing a totally different element and flow to the show. And so that's what made Mindshift so unique, was the fact that we all had these different gifts and these different talents, different things to contribute to the show. And it helped us to really be open about every conversation we had. So it wasn't one dimensional. It was multidimensional. You would hear my perspective, you heard Billy's, and you heard Io's, and they all made sense. You just had to be open to take pieces from each one. But again, they were phenomenal. They were awesome. I still think they are amazing people. I still call them my brother and sisters to this day, because I'm just honored to have them and you in my life, Terrence. And before we go further, again, publicly, I want to thank you one more time for getting us here and making this show happen, because it probably wasn't going to happen right now. So thank you.
Hey,
Well, you know, I say nothing happens. Nothing happens by chance. This was divine. This was in divine time. This was in divine order, and God just used me as the vessel to continue to prod y'all to come back, because you know He ain't done with y'all yet, and He wasn't done with Mindshift Talk Radio. So
Right.
I appreciate you guys for accepting the invitation. And for all you guys, you're watching the Unstoppable Story Show. It is the Mindshift Talk Radio reunion show, part of Thankful Tuesday, all this month on the Unstoppable Story Show. So come on in, swipe and share. If you've got any comments for the crew, go ahead and put them in the comments section, and we will make sure that we get it up on the air. But you guys, we are talking about being thankful, talking about gratitude, and you know, out of 154 shows that you guys did in total, beginning on June 9th of 2010, all the way up to May of 2013, one of the shows that I was so happy to be a part of was a show that we did together where we talked about the attitude of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna take the remainder of the show. We're gonna talk about gratitude. We're gonna talk about what you guys are thankful for, either about the history of the show or what you're thankful for about that had happened to you as a result of the show, or what you're thankful for right now. But first, it's a question that I ask every guest on the Unstoppable Story Show. You guys too. And let's start with Dr. Io. So Dr. Io, when you hear the word unstoppable, what does that mean to you?
So unstoppable is just a force in motion that can't be stopped. No matter what comes in your way, no matter what obstacles might arise, you don't see them as they're just roadblocks. They're not a roadblock. It's just a hurdle. So you just have to find a way to jump around it, jump over it, move around it. But you're unstoppable. So in whatever facet of your life that, you know, positively that could be.
Well said, well said. And I agree with that. And people are going through hurdles. They're trying to overcome obstacles right now. And part of what we're trying to do is we're helping them to shift the way they think about those obstacles so that they can overcome those obstacles. Many times the obstacles that we face in our lives are created in our mind first. And if we can just shift the way our mind thinks, then we can also shift the way that obstacle looks, and then we can handle it in a different way, and then we can ultimately overcome the obstacle. So great. I love that from you, Dr. Ayo. Thank you. We're going to move it on over to the motivational minister, Dr. Hours. I'm speaking this into your life all year long. It's going to be Dr. Billy Miller, too. So, Dr. Billy Miller,
Hey, what's going on?
what does
Can
it
y'all
mean
hear
to
me
you
clear?
to be unstoppable?
Hey, can y'all hear me clear?
Yeah, we can hear you. Keep on talking.
Okay, good. Look, man, first of all, I appreciate that introduction you gave me, but it's something you forgot to say who I am, man. I am excited tonight. It's Dr. Ayo Kidar right there in the building. You got Stacey Embry, you got Sister Big Bones, Chris Gloss is in the building. Terrence, the unstoppable coach, is in the building. Man, I'm excited.
What more could you ask for, right?
Hey, and I got my libation right here.
Oh my gosh, we can't hear Billy.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear him. You got your
You
libation?
got.
I can't hear him. Can you hear him, Ayo?
I sure can. He's talking
Yeah.
about his libation. Cheers to you, Billy.
Got,
I like that water.
Okay.
He's got a slight delay, so you might have to listen a little intently.
Okay. So let me go ahead and
Okay,
tell
holding up.
what's the question and what does unstoppable mean to me?
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
Okay. Well, years
Are you
ago,
asking us? We cannot hear right now. This is hilarious. Why can't we hear? Okay.
Okay, so years ago, Terrence, you was on the Mindshift Talk radio show. And when you was coming on the show, I studied and did research on you.
Oh, Billy's talking.
I did study and research on you before you came on the show, and I noticed your theme and your mantra was unstoppable. And so I looked up that word, and when I looked up that word had so much uh, power to me, the definition. It had such a punch, and up in the Webster Strategic Dictionary, which is what I call the Red Dictionary, and it says unstoppable means incapable of being stopped. And I just like incapable of being stopped. And somebody need to write that in the comment room. Write that in the comment. Incapable of being stopped. And that means whatever God signed off on is incapable of being stopped also. So your vision is incapable of being stopped. Your purpose is incapable of being stopped. You are incapable of being stopped. So I just love that definition. That's what it means to me. Incapable of being stopped.
And you didn't say nothing but a word. You said put that in the feed. Come on, man. Here we are. Unstoppable means incapable of being stopped. And I love it. I love how you picked up on that. And that is the message that you guys were giving each and every week. And you didn't even know it, because what you were feeding us as an audience was helping us to go from week to week, knowing that we could shift the way we were thinking. And then as a result of that, we were unstoppable as well. And through statements like that, Billy was always saying that he went and did some research. He was always saying that he went to the Bible and he looked up this verse or he looked up that verse. And he always was saying that he went online and he found the meaning of this and he found the meaning of that. And that was what was so valuable to the show, because it showed that you guys were putting in the effort even before you came on the air to provide us with content that was going to make us think, and content that was going to allow us to move to the next level. And Chris says that Mindshift Talk Radio helped clear the path for all the podcasting shows today. Did it before it was even popular? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
100%
That's awesome.
agree.
Thanks, Chris.
So,
Hey.
so let's segue over to the Wonder Twins, Stacy and Juanita. And you get the same question. So, what does it mean to you when you hear the word unstoppable? And whichever one of you would like to go first.
My answer is going to be shorter than Stacy, so I'll start.
Great.
I just say it is forward progress, even if it requires taking a step back. That's it.
Wow. Oof. Okay.
Damn.
Drop the mic.
Right.
Don't drop the phone.
I guess for me, unstoppable means without limitation. I think unstoppable is a mindset, just like limitations are mindsets. And so, you like that?
I do.
I like that too. But yeah, so that's that's what I think it is. Honestly, I just think it's living your life intentionally, on purpose, without limitation. At the end of the day.
Absolutely. I love it. I love both of those comments. You guys, you put it all up in a nutshell. People need to understand that unstoppable doesn't mean that you don't often come to the fork in the road, or you don't always, it's not always a stop sign or a go light. Sometimes it's that yellow light, that yield, that slowing down to take a look at your environment, to take a look at the landscape before you make the decision on where you're going to go further. So it doesn't mean that you're stopping. It just means you're yielding so that you can receive that information that's going to help you go further. So I love how you said that, Dr. Warren, and Stacy, you just wrapped it up in a ball and brought it home. So I appreciate you guys. So on the word unstoppable, you guys stopped in 2013, the Mindshift Talk Radio show. Mm-hmm. Why is it important to do the reunion now? How about that?
So I don't want to say we stopped. Go ahead and sip your wine. I don't want to think about it in terms of stopping. I think it was a long pause.
A long pause.
It was a long pause. And
I received that.
There you go. And life happens. We have all gone through several changes, and they have been for the good. I like to think they weren't always comfortable changes. They weren't always pleasant changes, but nonetheless, they were changes, and they were necessary changes. And so for me personally, in 2013, my life took a major shift, which required a mind shift, but it was great. I launched a new business, and, for most people that followed us on Mindshift from day one, I was a single mom doing Mindshift initially. So I would literally do the shows at 10 p.m. when my son would be asleep. Sometimes he would sneak and listen, but, we made it work. And then in 2013, here it was, this new business venture, and just I was in a new home, and it was just new responsibilities. And I never wanted Mindshift to be cheated, I guess, of the quality in terms of the people we were bringing on the show and the message that we were sharing. And I honestly didn't feel that I had the time to invest the way I would like to for Mindshift. Billy was gone promoting his books and just being the author extraordinaire. Doc will share her story in terms of things that she was going through. And so it was hard. It was hard to take the pause, but we had to be grown-ups about it and be realistic. As I said before, we knew what the initial intent and purpose of the show was, and that was to create paradigm shifts. It was to feed into the lives of other people, and it was to provide genuine content. And I didn't think that I would be able to do that at that time. So that was the reason for the long pause. And you asked, excuse me, why we would do this now. For one, you were prodding at us, like inbox messages and hints like Stacy. But, we laugh about this all these years later. people still like our page. People are still sharing stuff on the Mindshift Facebook page that was posted years ago. And so we get the alerts on our phone that someone just shared your post from Mindshift, or someone just liked your page, and we'll text each other and be like, why? You know, it's the funniest thing to us. But again, it just confirms that we did our job, and we fulfilled that mission and that intent, which was to provide great content, I think. And it speaks volumes for people that still like us. And it's funny, recently I had a junior high school reunion in LA a few months ago. And at least 4 of my junior high friends that are Facebook friends were like, so you still doing the show? I haven't heard the show lately. I'm like, I haven't done that show in years. Like, there's no show, you know. But again, that just speaks to the heart in Mindshift. So we don't know where it's going to go at this point. So that's why I like to say we're just on a long pause right now. Right?
Yeah, hiatus.
There
It's
you go.
in between seasons, and you're building up the anticipation. But I want to talk what you just said. You know, how people still come up to you today and they ask about the show. That talks about how impactful it was. So, Dr. Ayo, from what you remember about the show and from your experiences now, what do you feel the impact of Mindshift Talk Radio was for your audience?
Well, I think what we brought is the real, is people needing to, well, first of all, I'll say some of the topics might be topics either we were personally dealing with or knew someone who was dealing with, and then that was kind of like the inspiration of the shows, or if it's whatever month it is, like this is Diabetes Awareness Month, but we kind of try to tie it to something where it was something personal. So that when you're coming from someplace where it's something that speaks to you, it's easy to create content, and it's easy to understand that someone else may be going through this as well, and needing to hear a different perspective. Because sometimes when you're constantly talking to yourself or to people who kind of what like Facebook can do, where it just gives you the same perspective that you're drawn to. So if you have a lot of negative people in your life and negative people around you, then just by happenstance, you don't realize unconsciously that you're moving within a negative spirit as well. And what Mindshift brought week to week was, hey, you know, maybe there's a different way of looking at things. Maybe you can have a different perspective. Maybe you could walk in a different spirit. And I think that's really what, especially in these times with the 4-5 in office, which I hope everyone went out and voted. I was an early voter, actually, so I don't have the little sticker. I'm a little salty that they didn't send me a sticker because I voted early, but but, you know, so that's what Mindshift brought. And I'm sure, Terrence, you know, with your show, that's what your listeners appreciate about you, is you turning those wheels to ignite them to realize that they are unstoppable, and what does that mean, and how you can keep moving through no matter what it is. Because when you realize that this is just a moment in time, no matter what, and it's going to continue to be more moments, and there's usually a bigger problem going on than the one that you think is the focus right now. I call them right now, I've been on a roll of first world problems, because we live in first world. So, you know, They always say we're in the first world, we're not third world. So we have like first world problems, because like my girls were throwing away, like some kale. My mom was here, and she's like from the islands. So she was like, wait a minute, what are you doing with this kale? This is good. And I'm like, no, it's got brown on it. I'm like, no, I don't do the brown. I just do the green.
And you make a great point there, and we're gonna try to segue in the little bit of time we have left. I know so. Again, as I told y'all last night, this is my show. Just because I said it was 60 minutes don't mean it got to be 60 minutes. We can go until they turn the electricity off and I paid the bill. So there you go. But here's what I want to touch on as we continue to talk about impact, and now we talk about Thanksgiving. Io said it, these are first world problems. And a lot of times we can't be thankful for what we have because we take a lot of things for granted.
And people.
And people for granted. So in the spirit of mind shifting, let's talk about how you guys used to address that on the show. And here's the question. If the show was still on today, what would you be talking about in terms of these quote unquote first world problems? I'm gonna throw it to Billy, then I'm gonna throw it to Dr. Warren.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, it's a little delay, so y'all just work with me. You'll hear me good.
You like Bruce Lee? You like Bruce Lee?
So check this out. So mind shift is still relevant. That's the first thing. So it's not like, even though we did the show back then, 20 years from now, we can still be talking about the same thing, because mind shift, well, the word shift means to replace or to change directions or to change the position. So mind shift, by definition, means to change the mindset or to reposition the mind or to change the mind. I hear an echo. But
Yeah, I think Stacy, we're gonna mute Stacy right
turn
now.
me up. But anyway,
Go ahead.
So mind shift by definition means to change the mind, to renew the mind, and so whatever topic we're talking about, because when we did the show, we talked about different subjects, we had different guests, and we came from different perspectives, and I always brought the spiritual perspective, I always brought the word, you follow me, the soul. I was the neck bone to the soup, you follow me?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it all starts with the mind, man. It all starts with the mind. And so, regardless of what we're talking about, real life subjects or whatever, it's the same solution that it was then, is the same solution now. It all starts with your mindset. If you want to change your life, you got to first change what's in your mind. If you want to change what's in your body, you got to first change what's in your mind. If you want to change what's in your pocketbook, you got to first change what's in your mind, because your life won't shift until your mind shift. Chew on that for a minute. So your life shift until your mind shift. And there's a scripture, it's a popular scripture, Romans chapter 12 verse 2, that talks about renewing the mind. I like the New Living Translation of it, and I want to read it. It's the New Living Translation says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think." And that's what Mind Shift Talk Radio does. So even if we did bring the show back, it's going to do the same thing we was doing then. We were changing the mindset, because we knew if we can change their mind, we could change their life.
Absolutely. There you go. I told you. I knew he was going to bring it in sooner or later. It is a wonderful thing to have the motivational minister, to have Dr. Io, Dr. Warren, and Stacey Emery Watson here with Mind Shift Talk Radio reunion on the Unstoppable Story Show. And, the possibilitarian, if I had a fifth screen, I'd be bringing this brother up, because he is bringing it in the chat room. He says, you bring the MTR team together the same night the country is experiencing a mind shift. Perfect timing. What are their thoughts on the shift in the country tonight? So, bam, Dr. Warren and Stacey, what's your thoughts now? What would Mind Shift Talk Radio be talking about regarding tonight's midterm election?
I would say we probably would be upsetting some people. I think we would ruffle some feathers right now, because, let me put it this way. So on one hand, I think the changes and what's going on right now is positive to a certain level. There's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on, obviously. With me being Stacey, I would be the person that's more neutral on the show. Io would probably be going off right now. Billy would be praying. And this one right here would be cracking jokes. So it would be an interesting conversation. But in terms of my my mindset and my perspective on what's going on, I think it's encouraging. Despite how challenging things are right now, despite how ugly some things are right now, I think there's still a lot of hope. There's still a lot of promise. There's still a lot of potential for growth. And again, that's just me being Stacy and being the positive person, trying to be the positive one. But really, I think it's encouraging.
I think it's a great time to be alive and a great day to be an American. Just here in Georgia, the ability to, if you decided to just have the opportunity to vote for who could potentially be the first African American female governor in the U.S. Just to continue for us to continue to be able to be a part of history. I think we would probably focus on different aspects of the mind shift. We always look for commonalities and common ground. The way to build a bridge. Just before we started, there was a video of a little boy, like a little 2-year-old boy here in Georgia, that was at a blues or bluegrass or some type of festival. And when it was time for him to go, he went around and gave free hugs. And so this has been shared and shown over social media. So I think that we would also challenge people on voting because of the importance of such, and we'd be talking trash about those people who didn't vote, who would say that I wasn't voting because of this and that. But I think we would challenge people to think and to think critically, not just act or react.
There you go. And then one thing I've learned from these elections, because it's been really heated here in Georgia, if you guys are keeping up with the race in Georgia, but I've learned just to really be open to different perspectives. I will say, for example, my husband can rub people the wrong way.
No.
So silly. He does. And this is why he acts like Io in a sense. He's always playing devil's advocate and forcing you to look at things from a different perspective. And he has lost Facebook friends behind this, because he will say things they're not necessarily his feelings, but he's just encouraging people to have open dialogue and just to be open to hear different perspectives. So his thing is like, and I agree, you can have your position, you can feel however you choose to feel, you can believe whatever you choose to believe, but your beliefs does not necessarily have to dictate the beliefs of other people. We want to encourage people to see things the way we see them. But ultimately we want people to just have that mind shift, just to be open. There's no reason for me not to be able to sit here wearing my nice royal blue blouse, in case you guys didn't notice that, and have a conversation with you if you are wearing a red blouse right now. Like, we should still be able to have conversation. We should still be able to get to some type of middle ground. We should still be able to break ground, basically, on changes that need to be implemented in our country, in our cities, in our counties, in our state. So I think if we still had mind shift right now, we would piss some people off. We would encourage some other people, and there would be tons of aha moments on that show. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love it. And we're going to have the devil's advocate jump in just a second. But I totally agree. I think it is the perfect timing because we are experiencing yet another shift in the way people are thinking. I mean, back in 2016, it shifted because there was a fear. There was a fear of where the country was going because the Democrats was in power, and so the Republicans were afraid that it wasn't going to be good for them. And so now it was Make America Great Again. I haven't seen that happen yet, but that's a whole nother conversation. And now we've seen what 2 years of, so allegedly, what Making America Great looks like. And, the recipe isn't turning out to be the product that's coming out of the oven. So now we're shifting again. And so that's why this election season is so powerful. But Dr. Io, jump on in and get some of this. As the devil's advocate for the show, what do you think that you would be talking about if the show was live today?
Well, the thing is, we're definitely in a very politically fueled environment. I'm not that old, so I don't really remember like politics sticking out in my mind or it being that important to me. But now with how the rhetoric of hate is now flowing over into our schools, it's flowing over into our churches, into our yoga studios, that the rhetoric of hate is why a mind shift really needs to continue to occur. And as Billy was talking about why we have to continuously have a mind shift, because we're really counteracting the images and the rhetoric that our government is putting out right now. So when Stacey said that she's seen positive changes, it sparked something in me to think about what positive change. And the first thing that came to my mind was the positive change that I've seen is that people really are showing you who they really are and what they believe. And me personally, I like that because I like to know where you stand. I appreciate you coming, and you being upfront with how you feel. And a lot of it that I find is that there's just a lack of education because in my field, I definitely see the Make America Great Again hats. I'm in an area where it's a lot of Trump voters. And they come and see me, and I'm in management, and I'm the person then giving them, performing a service to them. And, I'm going to come with smiles and nothing but love because, and that alone, having that interaction where, they have a positive interaction with someone who doesn't look like them, it's just a small chance that you can create a shift with someone. So at the end of the day, really what I think Mindshift, where we would be focusing on right now, is how we can really come together as Americans. Because in the beauty of America is we like to separate ourselves into subsects. I'm an African American. I'm a white American. I'm an Asian American. But when you go outside of America, what all they class you is American. That's it. They don't call you anything else. They say you an American, okay?
Absolutely.
And when we have things like 9/11 that bring the country together because we're thinking it's another country coming at us, so let's squash all the race and let's come together as Americans. And I really hope that it doesn't cause something so where a lot of people are going to be impacted to bring this country back together again. But that's the period in times where we really come together as a country. And I think that's what we would be trying to focus on is, bringing us back together. Because the same struggles that we faced 30 years ago are the same struggles that we're facing today. So at some point we can't continue, we have to figure out how we can be the change. And that's why the election this time was so important to me. It's not, I feel like these smaller elections now are actually more important than the presidential election, really and truly, with the current setup with the electoral college. That whole system needs to be revised. The Supreme Court system needs to be revised of us having judges forever and ever and ever. That needs to be revised. And for us to really make these changes, our generation, our children, the ones that are affected, that are getting shot up in school, they have to be the ones leading the way. When you see Washington, D.C. is thinking about lowering the voting age down to 16 years old. When I see change like that coming, there's so much hope for me because I feel like we can be so much bigger than the bigots and narcissists that's representing us on a national level right now. And I think that's where we'd be really probably trying to heavily focus on.
And I do believe that Dr. Io just came up with like the next 5 new episodes of Mindshift Talk Radio right then and there. Watch the replay, you guys. I think you just did it. Hey, you guys, you're watching the Unstoppable Story Show. It is the Mindshift Talk Radio reunion. This is the crew that got me started in what I'm doing right now. Got me going from internet radio into video into podcasting, and we are just giving them kudos. We are giving them thanks. We're giving them their flowers tonight on the Unstoppable Story Show. We've got Stacey Emery Watson. We've got Dr. Juanita Warren. We've got Dr. Ayo Kadar, and we've got Billy, the motivational minister Miller, right here live and in person. And we're extended a little bit, but that's okay, because this was something that needed to happen. So I want to the last couple of questions I want to throw out before we end the show is again talking about gratitude and thankful. So each one of you, give me one thing that you are grateful for or thankful for right now in your life. And I'm gonna give the brother some love. So Billy, you get to go first.
Okay. Oh man, I'm real thankful, man. First of all, I'm just thankful that I see Dr. Ayo Kadar right there, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's been a long time. That's refreshing to see her, hear her. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I don't know, it just does my heart good, man. So I'm thankful for this show. I'm thankful for this reunion show. I thank God for Mindshift, man, because Mindshift Talk Radio started me off and helped me along the way with a lot of things, man. First of all, I'm about to say Dr. Stacey Emery. They got a little ring to it right there, Dr. Stacey.
Yeah, we can speak it into existence for her too. Yeah.
But she saw something in me when she started the show. She wanted somebody to bring the spiritual side. So she didn't know me that well. She just knew me on Facebook. She saw the value in me and my consistency with my posts. And so that means a lot for her to, even consider me, because she could have considered a lot of people for the part, and I had never did radio or anything. And so man, I accepted which was a God thing, because I accepted it and I learned so much from the show that prepared me to who I am today. I thank God for Chris Gloss, man. Chris Gloss on one of the shows I never forget, and I think the replay is still available. But one of the shows, he was on the show. He was on there several times, but one day he was like, "Yeah, I'm just excited to be here with Dr. Ayo Kadar and Stacey Emery and the motivational minister Billy Miller." And man, bells just start going off. Like, what did he hold up, rewind it? What did he just say? He said the motivational minister. Chris Gloss was the one who gave me that name, introducing, just saying he was excited to be here. And ever since then, that stuck with me. I've been the motivational minister ever since then. And then even the guests that was on the show, I learned a lot from them. They taught me so much without them even know they was teaching me. We had awesome and dynamic guests that just shut down the show. Besides you, Coach T, there was other people there who shut down the show too. There was Chris Gloss, Eddie Connor, and and when they was on the show, they taught me without knowing, leaking when you get done. When your turn, when it's your time, you make sure that microphone's smoking when you leave. And so I learned from them, and they helped me for when I go on interviews and different things like that. So man, I'm just thankful for this whole reunion. I'm thankful for everybody being on this reunion show. I mean, all of us are here. Usually it was just me, Stacey, and Dr. Ayo, or Stacey and Nita. Now it's all of us here, and Chris Gloss in the comment section, and Coach T in the building. I mean, I'm just excited. And I don't know how to express it. This is not phony. I mean, I'm really excited for this moment.
Yes.
And, I'm just full of passion, man.
Look at God and look how far we've come. That's all I can say to that. The fact that we're able to all be in the same, we're able to be in the same space, even though we're all across the globe right now. That is the power of just shifting your mind and doing something a different way. So I appreciate you. Dr. Warren, Dr. Big Bones. I love that. That's got a ring to it. Dr. Big Bones, what are you thankful for, sweetie? And I love your smile. I just do.
Oh, I love it too.
I still
Thank
want my
you.
plate too.
I am thankful for just being positioned to be receptive to a mind shift. Like this right here that you see right now happened because of Mind Shift Talk Radio. Like we're together side by side in one of our homes because Mind Shift was about journeying alongside with each other, and we've been able to do that. So I think, and I'm grateful for Mind Shift positioning me to be able to undergo the various mind shifts I've had to in becoming a caregiver, in preparing to become a wife, in the different roles that I've had to take on since the show took a hiatus, went on hiatus. So I am just most grateful for that. I think I know that God is strategic, that nothing happens by happenstance, and that He's intentional. And I can tell you that I know that my participation in Mind Shift Talk Radio is kind of like Esther, created me for such a time as this.
Well said. I love it. What you gonna say after that, Stacy?
I don't even know. I know one thing I'll be grateful for in this very moment is a better internet connection, because I missed everything that Billy just said. I didn't get to hear what Billy said. So
wait, it's not the internet connection.
No, you're gonna have to watch the replay. Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do.
Okay. But no, real talk, I'm grateful for growth. Mind Shift stretched me. I hear you sharing your testimony about how much you grew on Mind Shift and how it propelled your career and just launched you into this new realm. And we would have some of the most phenomenal speakers on Mind Shift. I mean, we were there to deliver a message. And like you just said, God's very strategic. For me, it was about having this platform to be able to impart so much on the lives of other people, but I grew tremendously as a result of this show. Isle talks about, I would say certain things even on the call and on the show where she would be like, oh my gosh, she knows my life. And I believe that was just the Holy Spirit. Like, seriously, there were things that, even listening to your show about gratitude, I listened to that show and I got emotional because there was just so much passion on that show. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity that God used me as a vessel to create this show. But this show was so much bigger than me. This show was not even about Stacey Emery. Like, even when I see the tag and it shows Mind Shift with Talk Radio with Stacey Emery, it was just Mind Shift Talk Radio. It was just God showing out. And it stretched me in the sense where I had those paradigm shifts. I wanted to learn more. Doing research on our guests and our speakers and learning more about the topics we were discussing educated me more than the master's degree I was pursuing at that time. And now here I am years later, no longer a single mom. I'm married. I no longer have one child. I have two. And you can count my mom. My mom's my third baby because I take care of my mother as well. But I don't think I would have been able to really embrace all the change as quickly as it came in my life had it not been for Mind Shift. Had me not been able to go through a process where I was able to open my mind to new perspectives and new opportunities, I probably wouldn't have appreciated hurtful change. And I wouldn't have appreciated the challenges that I've had in my life. So I'm grateful for the connections. I'm grateful for the lessons. I'm grateful for this that's happening right now. I'm on cloud 12 right now, seriously. And I'm not even drinking that much.
I love it. Come on, Aya. What are you thankful for?
All right. Well, I am thankful for being on this show. I'm definitely thankful for the reunion. It's been fun to be on and just sharing again. But number one, I'm thankful for being alive. I'm definitely thankful for waking up every morning, being able to put one foot in front of the other, breathe on my own, drink on my own. I'm so thankful to be able to turn on the light and, the light turns on, water flows out the faucet, on demand. It turns hot when I need it to. So I'm very thankful for those little things that I think sometimes we can take for granted. So I'm thankful for all my first world problems. Okay, I'm very thankful for them. Um, and I'm really thankful for my family and just really being able to have a chance to impact people's lives daily by giving them information that they may need, that they don't even know that they need. Um, so that's when I'm thankful for so much. It's kind of hard sometimes to put things into words, but mind shift is so important because I feel like every day you have to have a mind shift. Every single day is going to be something that is going to come up in your life, and it's going to try you to see, how do you really feel? How are you really thankful? Are you really appreciative? Mine this morning with my phone. I woke up, the phone wasn't working. And now I'm like, I realized how much, oh my gosh, I'm so connected to my phone, and I'm thankful for my phone. Now I'm like, oh my gosh. I had like 6 hours without you, and it was so hard. It was so hard. It was so hard.
But it worked for you to be on the show tonight, right?
So, but I got stuff done. I talked to my husband a lot. I wasn't in my phone playing my game. So, it just, so that's kind of the thing. Every day you have to have a mind shift. You're going to have a moment every day that you can decide whether or not to take the lane to be upset and be salty, or to take a lane and say, hey, you know what? I can look at it differently. This is the positive side to it, and I could spin it this way, and I'm gonna keep on I'm gonna keep on trucking with these first world problems. So that's what. So I'm just super thankful to be alive, and I think if you can move in that spirit and walk in a spirit of love, and trying to do the right thing to yourself and to others, you really can't go wrong.
I love it. You guys, you're watching the Unstoppable Story Show, the Mind Shift Talk Radio reunion with Stacey Emery Watson, Dr. Juanita Big Bones Warren, Dr. Ayo Kadar, and the motivational minister himself, Billy Miller. We thank you guys so much for being on the show. And I said it at the beginning, I am so thankful for the seed that you guys planted in my life that allowed me to walk in a specific journey that not only led to the radio show and not only led to this podcast, but it gave me the confidence to do other things. Since on your show, I've written 4 books, and I've created 10 first-time authors, and I've been on stage with Les Brown, and I've spoken on international cruises. So all those things that I had no idea were on the horizon, occurred because God created this vessel called Mind Shift Talk Radio that allowed me to tap in and change my mind, and to change the way I thought, and to change what was possible in my life. And you guys, Mind Shift Talk Radio, not only for me, but for I can say without reservation, for thousands of people, changed possibilities in people's lives. And 154 episodes made far more impact than 154 episodes, believe you me. But I can't let you go without throwing this question out there. It's just what I do. I'm unstoppable and I'm disruptive. So what's next for Mind Shift Talk Radio?
Honestly, we don't know. Don't look at me like that. It's not. I just said Mind Shift is not just about me. It's about the collective. It is about us as a whole. I honestly believe Mind Shift needs Stacey and Juanita and Ayo and Billy to really be whole. Of course, it's just like your body. If your arm is broken, you'll function, but life just isn't as fun without your arm. It's hard to clap, right? If your leg just doesn't work, you're going to limp around. I just feel like we all make that complete body. But we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, we've all had these changes. I'm a business owner. I've been surrounded by some phenomenal people now in organizations that I serve in now. And that takes a lot because it takes time. I'm now really passionate about advocating for people in general, but primarily for Black women and Black girls that need a voice and need someone to advocate on their behalf. And so that takes a lot of my time. I'm really focused on my own growth that hasn't changed in all these years, and it never will change. And so I've found myself being involved in more activity and organizations that are helping to strengthen my leadership ability. And then I look at my friends like these crazy people here that Billy's writing books and Io's saving the world, and Doc here is just helping to manage my mind and all the craziness that she has going on. If you're not connected to her on Facebook, please do, because you could be having the absolute worst day, and this one right here will make you realize that your life is really not that bad. Like really, like Io said, we're complaining about first world problems. So I don't know what's going to happen with Mindshift, but I would love to hear what the listeners and the viewers have to say. So I will say this. If you're listening live or watching live or watching a replay later, drop a line. Reach out to us on our Mindshift Talk Radio page. Send us an email at mindshifttalkradio@gmail.com. Share a message with Terrence, through the Unstoppable Story Show. I don't care how you reach out to us. I really just want to hear your thoughts and hear what you guys want, because at the end of the day, the show isn't just about us. It's really about everyone that we're impacting. So it's up to you guys.
Well said. Well said. And I'm putting the email address up right now. If you want to reach out to the crew, Mindshift Talk Radio at gmail.com, or go to their Facebook page. Facebook page is still there, Mindshift Talk Radio. It's still up on blogtalkradio.com. You can go and listen to some of the previous broadcasts with some of the great interviews. Let's see, you had some interviews with Jim Johnson. Yes. You had Lakeisha Dixon. Yes. You had author Bob Berg. You had Cheryl Vaughn. You had Josh Hines. You had Broderick Rice. You had Simon Bailey.
Yeah.
And you had this dude, this young cat, young, handsome, fine cat from Chicago.
Yes, he is.
Had all the potential in the world and just didn't know it at the time. And now he just calls himself Unstoppable. What? Huh? But I thank you guys for coming on the show. I thank you again. You too could have been doing anything else on Tuesday night. Shout out to Georgia. Hopefully you're going to make history tonight, as well as Florida. We're all going to get off and we're going to see how our voice made a difference with our vote. But I appreciate you guys. And whatever you decide to do with Mindshift Talk Radio, please know that you do have a home here at the Unstoppable Story Show, individually or collectively, whatever you guys have going on. If there's something you want to promote, if there's something if there's a topic that you feel is worthy of being on the Unstoppable Story Show, reach out to me. I love all you guys. Some of you guys I see online all the time. Dr. Io, we just gonna have to find a way to reconnect with you because I miss you too. And
Facebook free, guys.
Yes. So I'm gonna give each one of you just to give a closing thought, whether it's about Mindshift Talk Radio or just whatever's on your heart right now in this spirit of Thanksgiving before we close out the show. So let's start with who came on first, and that's Stacy.
So my final words again are thank you. I can't say thank you enough to Terrence, to Io, to Billy, to Juanita, and to all of you that have shown us so much love and support over the years. I truly praise God for this opportunity. And I would say, no matter what you're going through in life right now, no matter what you're facing, know that you're not alone. You have support. You have people like us and millions of other people that are going through the same challenges. And the one thing we've learned on this show tonight that is if you operate in a spirit of gratitude and have a spirit of thanksgiving and really exercise your faith, you can get beyond any challenge, any obstacle, anything that is frustrating you right now. And if you have to minimize it, thinking, okay, my first world problem versus my third world problems, as Io said, then do that. Do whatever it takes. But just know that where you are right now is going to make such a huge difference in not only your life, but in the lives of other people for years to come. We just talked about that just now on this show. What we did 8 years ago with Mindshift, we had no idea we would be sitting here right now on a Tuesday night, as Chris said, election night, a historical night, talking about the impact we had for years to come. And I've always said this. I said it on the show before years ago, and I'll say it again today. Your life is not your own. Your life is a life that is used and is to be used to bless other people. It is to be used to transform other people. And know that no matter what you do, whether it's positive or negative, it has impact. So you have to make the decision. Am I going to make a positive impact on the life of someone else, or is it going to be a negative impact? But regardless of which way, it's going to have impact. So just be purposeful and be intentional about what you do and the things that you say and the people that you keep. And that's it. That's all I have.
Good stuff.
Love it, love it. Dr. Big Bones. What you want to say?
He likes saying big bones. He likes that.
I would say I'm a believer in affirmations, and kind of that what you see is what you get. So I would say find that affirmation, find that proverbs or that spiritual verse or that quote, whatever it is that motivates you to be unstoppable. Whether it's for I know the plans that I have for you, whether it's you were fearfully and wonderfully made, whether it's be the change you want to see, whatever that affirmation is, whatever it is, that thing that you can keep telling yourself. If you're stuck, that gets you unstuck. If you're finding it challenging to continue on, if you are wanting, not trying to determine if you're homicidal or suicidal, whatever it is, that will make you, like to quote my handsome brother here, that makes you be unstoppable. Thank you.
Oh, shucks. Dr. Io, you got the floor.
Thank you, because I didn't want to go after Billy. So I'm so glad you taught me in it. Thank you so much. I sure enough appreciate that. So, I forgot the question. Ask me again.
Oh, it's not a question. Any final thoughts you have, Dr. Io?
Okay, that's what we're on. Final thoughts. All right, so, my final thought is, especially as we're going into this holiday season, is for us to really realize that where we're at today is from the choices that we made days ago, months ago, years ago. Yeah. So it's easy to get frustrated in the moment, but we have to really realize that this moment is from choices previously. So with going forward to make a change, we have to be conscious of the choices that we're making today. And when Stacey says be intentional, be purposeful, I think that's exactly what we need. And being honest with yourself, that's kind of the theme that keeps coming into my life, because it's very easy for us to create fairy tales and illusions, and for us to create those things in our life. And we have to really be conscious of our faults and be able to admit that the ugly things that you don't like about yourself, being okay with that. So those are some of the things that I think right now, as a society, that we're all kind of, it seems to be a little bit of struggle. So, going forward, I think just in closing, it's just really important for us to be thankful for the little things, right? So anytime you start thinking that this problem is so big, bring it back down to how it's so small. right? Because at the end of the day, it really is, it is so small. So really being conscious of that and being conscious of the choices that you make, and be decisive in your actions, and stay uplifted. That's what I think we really have to make sure that we focus and be the change that you want to see. So if you're tired of seeing hate, then walk in love and give love and spread that. Amen. So be the change that you want to see.
Love it, love it. And last but not least, the motivational minister himself, Billy. What's your final thought?
My final thoughts, man, is another popular scripture, Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, which says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." And that knowledge piece is important because without that knowledge piece, you can't have the mind shift that we're talking about. And that's important. I want you to get that. Gaining information is what causes the mind shift. It says that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, not other things. Like, for example, it's not lack of money is not your problem. Lack of knowledge concerning money is your problem. So knowledge is that key, and that's what's going to help you to develop this mind shift that we're talking about. I saw Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. He came to Wilmington one time and he spoke, and I never forget one of his quotes. He said, he said, "The secret to my success is not my gift, it's not my talent." He said, "The secret to my success is my hunger for knowledge." And I adapted that, I embraced that. And that's the same motto that I live by. It's that hunger for knowledge. You can't stop being hungry for knowledge. And so if I had to leave any last words, my thing is, make sure you go and get the knowledge concerning every area of your life. If you want to have a shift, like I said earlier, your life won't shift until your mind shift. And you can't have a mind shift until you get the knowledge.
Love it. Love it. Doctor, I'm saying it, Dr. Billy Miller, that's the motivational minister, Dr. Ayo Kadar, Dr. Juanita Warren, and I'm just going to say it too, Dr. Stacey Emery Watson. These are the doctors of mind shift technology. If you want to change your mind, if you want to see a shift in your world, then you need to connect with Mind Shift Talk Radio. Thank you guys for spending a little time here on the Unstoppable Stories show. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And again, like I said, you have a standing invitation on the Unstoppable Stories show. And again, I'm gonna put you guys in the green room, so don't disconnect. But what I want you to do is, as you go into the green room, if you just put your information in, if you want people to connect with you directly for each of individual things that you guys have going on, I appreciate if you put that in the comments. But hey, wherever you guys are in the world today, thank you. And hey, don't just make it a great day. You guys on Mind Shift Talk Radio, make it an unstoppable day, okay?
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Don't disconnect yet. All right. Definitely. So that is the Mind Shift Talk Radio crew. We had a great time tonight. Great time hanging out with them on the Unstoppable Story show with Terrence Lefters as a part of Thankful Tuesday. Hey, this was my personal testimony. This was what I wanted to let you guys know that I was personally thankful for, because this, again, was the seed that took me to where you see me at right now. So I appreciate the Mind Shift Talk Radio crew. And I just want to leave you with this. I want to move from being unstuck into being unstoppable. Then it all starts in the mind. Many of the things that have us stuck right now, or have us taking things for granted right now, is all because of our thinking, or our lack of knowledge, or, as I like to say, our lack of applied knowledge. We got a lot of knowledge, but what are we doing with it? When you don't do anything with it, then that leaves you stuck. But when you shift the way you think about a situation, then that situation changes. So I encourage you, as you are in an attitude of gratitude this month, and as you are thinking about your life and the rest of this year, moving into 2019, I want you to really focus on making a shift in your life. That one shift of your mind is going to change your whole environment. And when you change your environment, you will move from being stuck into being unstoppable. I hope you guys will tune in again each and every week, especially this month, for Thankful Tuesdays on the Unstoppable Story Show. Next week, join us for a local homegrown singer by the name of Pia Renee. We're going to debut her CD here on the Unstoppable Story Show, and she's going to talk to us about what she's been thankful for. But wherever you guys are in the world today, you know what I like to always say. Don't just make it a great day. Do that Mindshift Talk Radio dance and make it an unstoppable day. Take care.